The random lean towards closing off from all the info, enjoying some silence. Turning off that brain would be fantastic. Scott Pollen, by the way, floods? Floods? I don't know if you're talking about specific floods or just weather shift floods, but yeah, there'll be... The thing about warming is you put energy in the atmosphere, right? And more energy in the atmosphere means a higher evapotranspiration rate of water, surface water. And that surface water evaporates the atmosphere and creates really hefty clouds. And rather than getting like normal weather patterns, you get dry or absolutely soaked. And the storms have a lot more energy and they dump a lot more rain in a single burst. Like, think about the floods that happened in Fort Lauderdale not too long ago. These were really localized storm systems. They weren't hurricanes. They weren't tropical storms. They were just normal storm weather patterns that dropped 20 inches of rain in a localized area in a 24-hour period. That's insane. That's the type of rainfall you expect from a healthy tropical storm or greater. Not an off-season thunderstorm that's just rolling through Florida and it's like, fuck you, Fort Lauderdale, you're going to be underwater. That's not how it's supposed to work. But when you got more energy atmosphere, you're going to get more water vapor, which means your storm clouds are going to be a lot beefier and they're going to drop a lot of water. So what ends up happening is you get these high pressure systems that are huge. And the high pressure systems form because, as we talked about, warm air rises, right? When warm air rises, it's got to go somewhere. So it fans out, right? If it doesn't drop it all as rain in that location, it fans out until it cools and it descends down somewhere else. So it creates a huge high pressure system. And those high pressure systems will keep clouds away and it'll get dry and really, really hot because all the water vapor is in the upper atmosphere. It's cold, condensed. It falls back down and it turns back into water vapor and it dries out and it gets really warm on its way down. So like when you look at here, we'll just bring up the Google Earth. I can show you. Google Earth. Come on. I think we're still looking at the Karch Bridge here. All right, let's look at a classic cycle. We go to Hawaii. You can go to lots of places, but so in Hawaii, the winds come from the northeast, and they're trade winds. They blow all day long, and as they're blowing, the air hits the mountains and is forced up and over the mountains. And as it's forced up and over, it takes that water vapor, it rises it to a higher elevation where it cools, condenses, turns to rain clouds, and it dumps a boatload of rain. And you can see like just how dark the forest is here on the side of Mauna Kea. This place gets like 400 inches of rain a year, right? It just rains and rains and rains because the winds are constantly pumping clouds into that chunk of the mountain, and it just dumps all its water here, goes over the top of the mountain, and as it descends on the other side, it dries out, and it gets really, really warm. So the temperature drops like 5 degrees for about every 1,000 feet you go up in elevation. But the air warms on the other side, on the leeward side, by 5.5 degrees for every 1,000 feet. So this side, even though it's the same sea level here, sea level there, this side's actually like 5 to 10 degrees warmer usually than this side of the island due to that orographic lift then descending and warming that air. And it happens all over the world. Same thing happens out in the deserts. So we can go up to my other hood up here in Washington, and we've got, Washington State, mountain range, rainforest galore all over the place, huge rainforests, all up these mountains. The winds come from the west, hit these mountains, air rises up, cools, dumps snow and rain, and then descends on the other side. As it descends on the other side, you go from 14,000 feet down to 1,000 feet. It gets really warm and really, really dry. And so you don't get very many clouds in here because the localized warming causes that high pressure to happen. And you can get places like California, which has the natural descending air from the tropics onto those 30-degree latitudes. And so it's hard for storm systems to get in there, especially during the summertime when it's all high pressure. And those high pressure systems will get larger and larger and larger and larger. So you get these larger regions of drought, American Southwest, and it kills off like everything in summer. So all the little plants dry out and die, and then fires rage through and rips out, trees and all these things. And then when that high pressure system weakens in like December, January, the storm systems that come in, they've got so much more energy and they drop so much more water and so much more intense. They hit this like burdened ground that can't absorb any of the rain because it's been so dry for 7 months that just washes off, and you get landslides and deluges and flash floods, and it's just nuts. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And we're seeing it happen here. We're seeing it happen in Spain. We're seeing it happen in Italy. We're seeing it happen in India. We're seeing it happen in Australia. Everywhere we go, the droughts are getting more severe and the rain season's more intense. And it's just going to strip the soil off of all these places. So that even if you do kind of average out, it's really, really hard for long-term plant life to find purchase. And it's just going to compound the issue. So we're just going to desertify so much more of the planet than we ever planned on. And it's going to suck. Like right now, I don't know if Chris Collins is in here, but they're in Peru. They're in Peru, Lima, right? So like Lima down here. Like this part of Peru, the winds come from the east. So the rainforest is here. It's going to rain a bunch anyway because it's close to the equator, so you get lots of rain anyway. But then it hits the mountains and drops a just shitload of rain right at the edge of the mountains, and then dries out as it goes down the other side. So it's hot and dry. And there's towns in the Atacama Desert out here that haven't seen measurable rainfall in 400 years. Like there's churches built out of blocks of salt because it doesn't rain. So the salt is not going to go anywhere. But in Lima, where, they get an inch of rain a year, they've been getting hit with storm after storm after storm after storm. The weather patterns are completely changed. And so Chris writes me quite a bit asking about different hillsides in Lima. It's kind of similar to the sediment hills you find in Southern California that when it rains, it just washes those mansions into the water. Lima is very similar. Like all of this is cliff line along here. You can see it. And this stuff has not seen significant rainfall for thousands of years. And it's getting hit with storm after storm right now when, it used to be a storm every 500 years. And they're getting hit with 10 of them in a year. And all of this stuff is starting to wash off the hillsides. And these buildings that are up here, they're going to be gone soon because they just aren't, the land is not designed to handle storms like that. So there's going to be definite big changes for quite a bit of places like this. So it's coming. It's going to suck. And, good luck, everybody.